Season's greetings. Hope you're having a great December. I am Fuzz Martin, and this is 15 Minutes with Fuzz, a show about all the good going on in our area. And by our area, I mean in and around Washington County, Wisconsin. Each week, I speak with people about their organizations, events, businesses, or even themselves to help spread the word about positive things in our community. That said, I'm also considering another podcast with some more humorous content, but Shanna, my wife, said I need to have another podcast like West Bend needs another quick trip. So we'll see what happens. And I digress. Pete Rettler is the Dean of Moraine Park Technical College's West Bend campus, and he's got an interesting story. For almost 28 years now, Pete has been running every single day. That's more than 10,250 days in a row. And this New Year's Eve, he's hosting a running event at the Kewaskum Annex Building to raise money for the Wisconsin 9/11 Memorial and Education Center. It's called the Rettler Run. Tickets are $28 a piece, and you can buy them at rettlerrun.com, R-E-T-T-L-E-R run.com. Plus, everyone registered will have a chance to win some great door prizes from Jeff Spirits on Main. And with that, here's Pete Rettler on 15 Minutes with Fuzz. Pete, thanks for joining me on the show. Now, first question I have for you is, did you get your run in today?
I have not yet run today.
Okay.
I usually, if I've got a board meeting or something at night, I'll get my run in the morning, but usually it's a night run. I'll come home after work and take off. Although this time of year, when it gets dark already at 3:30 or 4 o'clock, I'm always taking a little bit of a chance running in the dark. So
sure.
But it's hard for me to get motivated in the morning before work to get my run in.
Yeah, I used to be a morning workout guy, and now I'm an I need to go workout guy. But otherwise, I'm usually an evening workout guy. You're coming up on 28 years of your running streak, and I know you've probably told the story a million times. But how did this all get started?
So it started back sometime in 1993. I was a high school and college wrestler for UW-Eau Claire in college, and we had an alumni meet probably sometime in November of 93, and I was there, and I was just ashamed at how much weight I had gained. I wrestled at 126 in college and was probably pushing over 200 pounds, and the guy, Phil Scherenbrock, who wrestled 142 for Eau Claire at the time I was there, he was pushing 222, and we both just had a conversation. We're like, we need to get in shape. And so we made a commitment that him and I were going to run every day of 1994.
And you did it.
So we both did it for a year.
Okay.
And Phil could not wait to stop. He was just, and I don't enjoy running at all, Fuzz.
Sure.
I don't. But it was just about the streak, and I thought, I'm just going to keep going as long as I can.
And then here you are coming up on 28 years. So was it New Year's Eve that you started then?
No, it was New Year's Day.
Okay.
And I remember it, 1994, because I think the Badgers were in the Rose Bowl that day.
Oh, yes, they were.
I can't think of the name of the quarterback right now that led him to the title, but he's like an offensive coordinator now for the Seahawks or something.
Yeah, I remember watching that game. I was a sophomore in high school, and we were in my parents' basement.
Darrell Bevel.
Darrell Bevel, yes. Good call.
Yep.
Wow, memories. You have some rules that you set for yourself for the streak. What are those rules?
So originally that first year, the minimum had to be a mile.
Okay.
But this was back in the days before GPS watches and all that stuff. So it was traditional that we'd take a car and drive and try to figure out where the routes were. And so it became 1.2 miles because, you'd drive this car and it was this, it would show up. So I wanted to make sure it was a mile. So it was 1.2, and that's sort of what I know it sounds weird, but that's what I settled on for the last 28 years. And that's the minimum.
That's the minimum. Okay.
Yep. So, and that's what I usually call my Sunday run.
Gotcha.
But I would have to say what my average run has been over 28 years, it's 2.5 miles a day.
Okay.
So on a typical week, I'll run a 5K Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then take 2 days where I just do my minimum run.
What is your,
how long does it take you to typically run that mile?
Oh, I'm getting slower and slower, and it depends on who I'm running with.
Okay.
If I'm running with my daughter or one of my sons, it's typically faster. But
Sure.
I would have to say right now I'm probably at about, if I'm on my own and I'm not in a hurry, at probably 9:15 mile.
Okay.
I think I could do sub 7.
Sure.
If I'm with my daughter or my son, I still think I can do sub 7, but nothing like I could, when I started, I could do sub 6 pretty easy.
Sure. I've never been able to do sub 6 or even sub 8, but I can get pretty close. You also only run outside, right?
Correct. Yeah, that was one of the things is it can't be on a treadmill or anything like that, or on an indoor track or anything. So
when it's negative 65 with the wind chill, you're still out there.
Yep. And people always ask, what's the worst conditions? And I'm on the Fair Park board, and one year we were up at Wisconsin Dells for the annual county fair convention. I was with Sandy Lang that year, and I'll never forget it. I don't know what the exact wind chill was, but it was 60, 70 below zero.
Yeah.
I think the temperatures were like 25 to 30 below, but that was probably the worst that I've ever run in.
Now, when it's that cold, do you go typically your Sunday run lengths, or do you still push it?
I push it. And the reason is, I could do 1.2, but that's like, oh yeah, you wimped out and did your...
Oh yeah. Okay.
So I always try to challenge myself. In fact, that day, I think I went 2.5 miles just to get my average run in.
Yeah.
And honestly, Fuzz, I'll take that temperature any day before 100 and humid.
Sure.
Because you can cover up, and I wear a bandana over my mouth and nose, and I've never gotten frostbite or anything like that.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, you can always warm up. It's harder to cool down.
Exactly.
At least to not get an indecency ticket.
Yes.
What other, besides the weather, what kind of other challenges have you had in making sure you complete the streak over the years?
Well, I've got 4 kids, so when my wife was getting near delivering, I always had to really plan well, because I didn't want to be in the hospital and not have my run in and leave my wife's side as she's delivering a baby. So
sure.
I do remember with the first one, Jack, my wife's like, I think I'm going in labor, and I'm like, do you think I can get my run in? And she said, go right now. So I went and whatever. And the other ones, I planned really well. Those were typically morning runs that I would get in. So,
hey, honey, how come you drove around the hospital 3 times? Oh, I just wanted to get the distance.
Yeah. So that's been one of the things. This has sort of become a way of life. So I've got 4 kids. None of them they're all under 28 years old. So none of them ever remember the day without me running.
Sure. Oh yeah.
They all ran. I had a running stroller that I wore out that they all rode in. After that, it was, they'd jump on a bike and they'd bike with me, and then eventually they'd run with me. So
that's great.
That's been fun. But other challenges, probably the 2 worst ones. One was quite a while ago, but I got kidney stones.
Oh.
And I thought I was dying. I didn't know what was going on. And I went to the hospital, and that's when the hospital was still here in West Bend. And very quickly they realized I had kidney stones. And I remember asking the doctor, I'm like, can I run yet? And and the doctor's like, why would you want to? And my wife said, well, he's got this streak going. And so the doctor's like, you can run, but I suggest you run while the morphine's still in you when you get home.
Yeah.
And that night, Fuzz, I had no pain whatsoever. But and then a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago now, my neighbor got a brand new boat. Dennis got a brand new boat, and I went water skiing. I love water skiing, and it was early in the spring, and I think the water was a little cold, and I was getting out of the water, and something popped in my hamstring, and I thought my streak was over, and got into the boat, and I think I even tried to run a little bit in the boat to see if I was still okay, and as soon as we got to land, I ran. I could get through it, and it was a painful, probably 6 months.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
I
Okay.
ran every day, but I wrapped it up. I
Yeah.
heated and iced, and a couple times when I was making my way back, I would re-injure it, and I'd have to go back to square one again. But eventually, I got through it.
Good.
So-
Yeah, that's just sounds pain. My leg hurts thinking about it. How many pairs of shoes do you go through on a yearly basis?
About 2.
Oh, really? Okay.
Depending on the quality of the shoe. I buy pretty much the same shoes every time.
What's your brand?
Brooks.
Okay.
The last few years, it was Nike for many years, and my son last year, my son Drew bought me a pair of Hoka's
Oh, yeah.
for Christmas, and I like them, but it's those are very expensive shoes. So
Sure.
I just got another pair of Brooks. So
Gotcha. We need to get you a shoe deal.
yeah.
Coming up on New Year's Eve, you have the Rettler Run 5K. This year will benefit the the Wisconsin 9/11 Memorial and Education Center, as it has for the last couple of years. So when did you officially start doing this charity run on New Year's Eve?
Year 20.
Okay.
So year 20, I was meeting with one of our marketing people at Moraine Park, Judy Urban, and Judy's like, you should do something and raise money for the foundation, Moraine Park's foundation. So for the first 4 years, I ran for the foundation, and we would get scholarship dollars for Washington County high school graduates to attend Moraine Park. So we did that. It was a smaller event. I mean, it was at my house, and then we moved to the mayor at the time, Craig Sedonico's house. He hosted a couple of years, and it was a nice event. And then year 25, we really got big. That's the year that I was president of the board for United Way, and me and Kristen Bradner came up with the idea of 25 Runs of Gratitude.
Cool.
And that year we raised, with matching funds, about $34,000.
Oh, wow.
So that was a great year. And then since then, I've been with the 9/11 Memorial, and I met Gordon Haberman and Jerry Gosa, and really fell in love with that project. And I decided, I think Gordon approached me about having to run out there, and that's worked out really well. We're at the annex. I don't have to. My wife doesn't, get all worried about having all those people at our house, and so that's worked out really well. And the other thing about the memorial that I just, I remember when I first got to know them, Gordon gave me the book A Few Sleeps Away.
Yeah.
And I read that book about Andrea and, what happened, and it just made me think about how ironic it is, the incredible bad luck she had, and many others, obviously, and the incredible good luck that I've had.
Right.
I mean, if you look at it, Fuzz, 28 years, without spraining my ankle or breaking a bone or having to have an appendectomy or something
Right.
that normally happens to people. So I've thought about that quite a bit, with since we've been running for the Kewaskum Remembers 9/11 Memorial, is I have to keep doing this because I've been blessed. And as long as I'm being blessed, we need to do something good for somebody, whatever. So that's one of the things that I've really thought about that since we've been with Kewaskum.
Sure. And I'm going to knock on wood. So my apologies to listeners for hearing that through the mic, but just want to make sure you stay safe. And there's a lot of people with phones and cars and things, and I want to just...
Fuzz, I've predicted many times that I'm going to be taken out by a texting driver.
Yeah.
That's because I can tell you if I wouldn't be watching out for myself, and I intentionally don't wear any earphones or anything like that, because I can't tell you how many times that somebody has not seen me, and I wear pretty bright clothes and whatever, but I'll be taken out by a texting driver at some point.
Okay, well, we don't want that to happen, but all of the numbers, unfortunately, seem like they add up that way. Honestly, I used to ride road bikes, and I bought a mountain bike because I once my youngest daughter was born, I thought I'm going to get smoked out on the road, and it's doesn't matter how bright my clothes are or what lights I have on the bike that people are staring at their phone.
They can't see if their head's looking down.
Yep, so. Exactly. So coming up on Friday, December 31st, noon till 3 p.m. It's the Rettler Run. You can go to rettlerrun.com or go to the Wisconsin 9/11 Memorial website and click on the big banner. The event's officially a 5K, but it's not a race, right?
It's not a race, and many people just do a lap around. You can bring your dog and walk your dog. I do a 5K. Last year I pushed my first granddaughter. I'll probably do the same thing again this year.
Fun.
But it's definitely not a serious run. You're not going to find people warming up before the run.
No chip timers, no official course.
No.
Just a bunch of people having fun and raising money for the memorial and helping you celebrate your 28th year of the streak. Last year you raised almost $5,000 for the memorial. What's your goal for this year?
Our goal is $5,000 this year. I'm hoping we can surpass that, but I think it's pretty doable.
Yeah, and if you don't want to come to the Kewaskum Annex Building, you can do it virtually, right?
Correct. Yep.
But if you do come to the Annex, we're going to have some great food and refreshments from Al at Dunn Brothers, Keith at Cousin Subs. Thank you both for participating in that. And then we've got first of all, you got some great prizes from Jeff Spirits on Main.
So I've got this year 11 other sponsors besides Dunn Brothers and Cousins, and also David Tennis over at the hardware store in Kewaskum. I've got 11 other sponsors that put together $200 each. Mm-hmm. And so Jeff from Jeff Spirits on Main, we went and picked out 28 different bourbons that we're going to give away as door prizes. And like the least valuable door prize you can leave with would be a bottle of Buffalo Trace, which is a pretty darn good door prize.
Sure.
So some of these bourbons are incredibly expensive and rare. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, that was pretty fun last year watching. I think it was your daughter that was running the randomizer to pick our winners and
Correct.
stuff. Yeah, it was great. So I have the list of sponsors in front of me, and I'm just going to read those off. Wallace Lake Supper Club, Schlamer Law, American Companies, Mike and K.
Chevalier,
you, Pete Rettler, Duquesne Concrete, Westman Elevator, Candyman on Main, Epic Creative, Baird, the Nowak Group, Jeff Spirits on Main, Cousin Subs, Dunn Brothers, and Tedesay's Hardware.
Correct.
So thank you to all of them. And of course, thank you to you for putting this all together. If you want to buy tickets and register for the event, there's a Facebook event. If you want to search it on there, you can go to rettlerrun.com or again, go to the Wisconsin 9/11 Memorial website. Tickets are $28 a piece for the 20th anniversary. And people can sign up the day of the race too, right?
Yes, they can. And also, we're probably going to have hard copy tickets available at Jeff Spirits, so you can sign up there too. Jeff wanted that available, so some people like doing it that way. So
great. Yeah. So, and I keep calling it a race, but I mean a run. Again, it's not super competitive, though. Josh Shillman will probably show up and
well, the two top runners the last few years have been my son Drew and Josh's son Cale, who's a state champion this past year in the 800. So I'm sure the two of them will be leading the way again.
Yeah, I once had when I was on the radio, our weather guy from CBS 58 was a runner for Penn State, and he came and ran. I think it was the 5K for kids for the United or for the big Boys and Girls Club, and he ran it in, I don't know, it was like 15 minutes or something. And there was some other top runner who normally wins who was mad. It was pretty funny, but yeah, this is not that kind of race.
No, it's not.
But anyway, Pete won. Look out for deer and cars. Two, thank you for all that you do for this, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And thanks for coming on the show.
All right. Thank you, Fuzz.
Again, I highly encourage you to help the Wisconsin 9/11 Memorial by registering for the Rettler Run. Visit the memorial website or go to rettlerrun.com, rettlerrun.com. Even if you're not going to run, you'll be helping a good cause. I'm not going to run, but I am signing up. If you like the show, please subscribe in your favorite podcast player. You can follow me at Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at 15 with Fuzz. All the episodes are also available at 15withfuzz.com. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you next Monday right here on 15 Minutes with Fuzz.